Here we are. It's Eye Care Leadership Live, and we're live here at the American Society of Ophthalmic Administrators. And I'm here with
Yes.
Mandy Cansler. Here, Mandy. Thanks for joining me on this couch here.
Oh, thank you for
It's
having me. I'm very excited to be here.
and we're here to talk about something very special, which is our very first compensation survey
Yes.
that we are going to be launching for ophthalmic leaders. And the very first phase of this survey is going to be focused on top administrators and providers. And Mandy, we're partnering up on this. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about the survey and what it's designed to do.
Yeah, thank you for that. So when you initially brought this idea up of kind of teaming up on this initiative, was excited to just kind of have a different direction because as a previous administrator, something that is hard within ophthalmology. It seems like such a niche, just using straight surveys that are just general health care, is to have specific for what do leaders, the administrative team, physicians. There's not enough out there. It's so competitive, but there's not enough data out there unless you're working as a recruiter or you're in the field out there searching. And so was really excited to kind of focus on specifically what some of these job descriptions are, how many people report to some of these positions, to really make it as relevant as possible for people to have the information they need to be competitive.
Yeah, that's right. And so we are building in a lot of detail into this survey. So geographic detail, size of practice. So we're collecting a lot of data points so that you can benchmark in this first phase of the survey. You'll be able to benchmark your practice against hopefully over 100 other practices on top administrator, marketing, finance leaders, and providers.
Yeah.
And so, and we will have future phases of this compensation survey. And by the way, this will be free, right?
Yes.
No
Yes,
cost.
it's free. There's no cost. So, a ton of work goes into putting together a survey, which has been a really good learning opportunity for us to really appreciate the other surveys that we have been a part of in the past, but to really lead this and provide the information. So, coming from the HR side, the administrator side, my colleague Cindy Smith from the CFO side, the information that she has looked for as a previous administrator. So we're really excited. I feel like this is going to be just as close to the mark as we can make this for our ophthalmic community. So I'm really excited for people to have the opportunity without having to pay for it to really have these resources as a tool.
And it is very difficult to get ophthalmology specific data on compensation, is what I have found. And so that's one of the reasons I'm excited about this, is because you will be able to have data specific to your industry. And I don't know, have you found it difficult to get data on compensation that's specific to ophthalmology?
Yes, I have. And as a previous, even for being a leader myself, when you're going to negotiate or maybe even talk about, what should our role be compensated. And as we grow, having the information to feel confident to come forward and have a conversation. And so that information was hard for me, even as someone to use it as a benefit for myself
For sure.
as an employee. But I feel like even as an administrator, when someone came to me with information they found out that they would find just from surfing the internet, is to really have the information I needed to be confident to meet them in what really felt fair,
Sure.
based on what their role was. And so I'm feeling really good with the information that we're working on. And I think it really comes down to the specifics of, no matter what that title is, or even how many people report to that, what are their daily tasks? What does it look like? Because a manager in one office is different than a manager in another office, and a COO in one office is different than another
Yeah.
office. So a lot of variances there.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that is important because in a lot of surveys I've seen, a CEO or a practice administrator at one practice is not the same as a practice administrator in another. And so when maybe you're looking at compensation data that I have seen in the past, you never knew if it was really relevant for your practice. And so, what we're trying to do is make it clear and allow you to filter and say, hey, you know what? We have 50 employees. I want to see a practice in my region with 50 employees. What is the average pay? And so that will hopefully be more useful. Um, Talk about, if you wouldn't mind, Mandy, some of the future surveys that we've been talking about, and what other data people may be able to get when we release those future surveys.
Yeah, so for the future surveys that we'll be working on, we'll start with the first phase, which is the physician and leadership levels, and then we'll move into across departments, so clinical and non-clinical positions, but even breaking down into subspecialties of retina specific, refractive specific, is oculoplastics comprehensive, positions that are hybrid or versatile, scribe positions, years of experience, certifications. There's a lot that it really drills down to. And then another piece of that I find even more exciting to offer is we learned when, as a previous administrator in my practice, was that when we did our research and found out that we were out of the range of what was competitive and we had some adjustments to make, and it was across the organization, then how do you approach that?
Okay.
How do you communicate it? What's the timing of that? All of that. And so we're going to be offering some future tidbits and advice on how do you implement and what is the strategy
Sure.
of how do you approach that and how do you deal with your team as you're trying to roll through this communication to bring people up to where they need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's great to have data, but how do you act on it? And that's definitely something that we plan on including and offering to folks who are interested in it. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to get the ball rolling here on this project. If you're interested in participating, you can reach out to me through LinkedIn, Mandy. We're going to be communicating this through our network.
Yes.
But if you haven't received a link or information, then just reach out to either Mandy or I. Me through seasoned-advice.com, and Mandy.
Mandy Cansler Consulting. And I would encourage you, if you've not participated in a survey like this before, we've tried to simplify it as much as we can while keeping it as relevant as possible. Contribute, data in, data out. So the more information that we get, the more information that we can provide. And we're really excited about this, and so we're hoping that we'll have a lot of participation in this, so that we can continue to get the feedback after the survey from this of what we want to groom or maybe focus more on in our upcoming years. But we're excited for our first launch.
Awesome. Well, with that, thanks for joining me, Mandy.
Thank
And
you,
I'm
Mike.
going to put some links in the show notes for this show for how you can participate in the survey. So check the show notes if you want to find out more. But this has been a special episode of Eye Care Leadership Live from ASOA in Washington, D.C.